The reason why you feel stuck in life is because you still haven't understood the importance of one single thing, which is mindset. Now, at this point, you're probably either about to close off this video or you're thinking, well, I already know how important mindset is. So I'm guessing you're probably in one of these two positions, but I promise you that if you keep on watching at least for another minute, you will understand what I'm talking about, and you will understand the level of importance that this has and the level of influence that it has in your life. Now, I will start off by telling you a really short and quick story of something that happened to me not long ago. I was sitting at the window of my house and I was looking down and I realized that no one was noticing me. People who were walking by on the street were just minding their own business, and none of them ever looked up. Okay? And I want you to focus on these words that I'm saying. Every single person was either looking straight forward in front of them or even looking downwards. Now, I also realized right after that even for me, sitting at that first floor, I didn't notice what was happening at the floors above me. I didn't look at the houses around me, at the buildings around me, and I never looked above, at the floors above. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because this is how most people keep on living their life for the entirety of it, which is they never realize the existence of different planes of reality. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Do you ever sit and ask yourself, how is it possible that there are some people that in one single day are able to generate, let's say, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands sometimes of dollars, whereas the average person is only able to make, I don't know, let's say $70, $80 in one single day? How is that even possible? How is it possible that there is such a huge difference even though we all have the same time at our disposal? And most people never even think about this stuff. And what you have to realize is that the way that you see reality, and so your mindset, because ultimately that's how you think, inevitably shapes your reality. Because again, we all have 24 hours in the same day, and you will also notice that a lot of people exposed to the same exact condition get completely different outcomes. Because how is it possible, for example, that in your city, people exposed to the same exact environment turn out completely different? A good portion of it comes down to how they see reality. And now I also want to give you another example, which I think hits a really interesting and a really, really good one. Now, probably you've already heard it if you're in the business world and you heard it from someone else that I'm not really going to mention in this video. But think about going around on the streets and seeing, for example, a supercar. And this happened to me also with people that I hang out with or that I used to hang out with, of seeing something of that level. So for example, let's say a supercar, but even just a beautiful house. And being like, guys, you don't realize there is someone that has $1 million to spend on a car, on a fucking car. You don't realize that we live on completely different planes of reality. We literally do. Because how is it possible that that same amount of money that the average person, let's say, earns in a lifetime, someone has it spare to spend on a car? It has to mean that there is something in the way of thinking and in the awareness towards reality that this person has that's completely different. Because again, of course, sometimes we are dealt different cards, but there are people in the same exact situation that turn out completely different. So how's that possible? Most of it is influenced by how you see reality. And now I will also give you, let's say, 2 practical tips on how to influence the way you see reality, and as a consequence, how to also impact it. And the first step is awareness. The first step is look around. Ask yourself, how is it possible that this stuff even exists? How is it possible that some people live a completely different existence from me? How is it possible that some of these things are even possible? And the second step, and this is usually what you realize, is that there is something involved that you're missing, and most times that thing is just pure volume. And now by volume I mean the amount of work that you're putting in, and that comes down to both the inputs, the actions that you're taking, but also at the same time the leverage. Because again, how is it possible that someone makes $100,000 in one single day? Of course, it's not possible by pure inputs. That's simply not possible. That's not doable. It's not humanly doable because, again, we all have 24 hours, but they do play with leverage. They do have, for example, employees, and so they take the time of other people and they leverage that. So, again, I want you to fully internalize this concept of realizing that there are completely different planes of reality. And I think that the best experience in life that you can have is getting to interact with someone that's on a completely different level from yours. Because it happened, for example, to me, of in one way or another, getting in touch with people that are making, let's say, 10, sometimes even 20, 40, 50 times more than me. And when I see these people, I feel their energy and I realize that they think in a completely different way. They are on a completely different plane of reality compared to me. And so the first thing that I do, again, is first of all awareness. I ask myself, how is that even possible? How is that even possible? And the second thing, again, it's realizing that most times that comes down to, once again, volume. And there are a bunch of other things that are involved in this, but again, you will realize those first of all by starting from that first step of awareness and of realizing that that is possible in the first place. And that is really the first step. And not only that that's possible, but realizing the meaning of what you see. Because again, that car right there, the car that you see, the supercar that you see going around or parked around, that costs $500,000, $1 million. Ask yourself, how is it possible that someone has $1 million spare to spend on a car? How is that possible? Awareness, that's the first step. And again, then once you start asking yourself questions, you realize that there's much more. And there are certain things that you can play with, certain aspects, certain elements. For example, as I was saying, volume, so inputs and leverage, to get closer to those results or to get closer to those planes of reality that you want your reality to turn to. And with that being said, this was a really mental video, let's say, but I think it's a really interesting concept and I hope you find some value in it, and we will see you in the next video.